Whether it be the flaming goddess from Moana, the emperor who turned into a llama, or the son of Zeus himself, Disney characters have been wrapped up by curses again and again, and we're going to cover some of the worst with today's list. Coming at number 10, we have Te Ka. I mean, going from a massive island covered in foliage and beauty, and then changing into a huge fire monster that everyone is afraid of sounds like a curse to me. If you don't remember, Te Ka was the antagonist from the movie Moana, one of the biggest Disney hits in recent years that has the legend of all legends in it, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. In the movie, Te is an island goddess who wants to bring good to the world, but then The Rock's character Maui, a demigod who has a massive hooked weapon, sneaks in so he can steal her heart, and not in a good way. He physically removes her heart from this god so he can use the magical powers. As you can imagine, having your heart ripped out of your chest by some dude who just snuck in to steal it probably would leave you in a bad mood. She becomes a living volcano that lays waste to everything around her. That's until her heart is returned to her and she can become her lush green self once again. And guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell, and stick around until the end of this list because I'm going to be reading out some questions from my Instagram inbox. Coming in at number 9, we have Princess and the Frog. This would suck. I don't know how many of you out there have seen Princess and the Frog, but this movie has one of the worst curses in movie history. So in this movie, you have Naveen, who is a young hunk just wandering around the world as handsome as anyone could be. And then you have Lawrence, who is a little toadstool of a man who really would like to know what it feels like to have the body of a young NFL superstar. Well, then Lawrence finds a voodoo doctor who will give him his dream. A deal is struck and the voodoo doctor turns Lawrence into an exact copy of Naveen, but now there's a problem. You can't have two rock-solid hunks walking through the world, especially when they're mere copies of each other, so the voodoo witch doctor turns Naveen into a frog, probably one of the worst animals you could ever get turned into. You're so low on the food chain, you're all slimy and slippery, and you gotta eat bugs, and sometimes French people will try to boil you in a pot. But on top of all this, Naveen has to watch his body walk off and ruin his hunky image while he's stuck in a frog body. That's horrible. Coming in at number 8, we have Kania. I mean, there could be worse fates. I don't know how many of you have seen Brother Bear, but in this movie, the main character Kania makes a huge mistake and kills a bear, and the spirits don't like this. Now there is a bear missing from the force, and Kania must take its place so that it will bring balance to the force and teach this dude a lesson. But as I said before, there could be worse things that could happen in the world. Bears are a pretty dominant force in nature, so you wouldn't be preyed on by too many other things other than humans. Also, you get to sleep for half the year. When you wake up, you have all the fish and food you want to eat, and you can just eat as much as you want. You get to get as fat as possible, then you find a mate, you mate, maybe you fight a couple times, and then when you're all plump and satisfied, you head back to your hole to sleep until next year, and you miss the whole winter, which is the worst part of the year anyways. I mean, that kind of sounds better than hanging out in an office with a vitamin D lamp blasting in your face so you don't feel tired all day. Coming at number 7, we have Sleeping Beauty. This is probably the most famous curse of any Disney movie. You have the beautiful princess in Sleeping Beauty. It's her birthday, like literally it's the day she is born. The king sends out an invitation to everyone in the kingdom to come see his new little girl. All the fairy godmothers come some nights. Literally everyone is invited except for Maleficent. She gets pretty salty that she never got an invite to this big day, so she shows up anyways and puts a curse on the poor baby. You have to be pretty ice cold to put a curse on a baby. On her 18th birthday, she would fall asleep and never wake up. And sure enough, on this girl's 18th birthday, she pricks her finger and then she falls into a coma. Then, of course, the prince comes in, he goes to Maleficent's castle, he kills the witch, and then the day is saved. Yay! What if Sleeping Beauty woke up after all of that and she was like, thanks for doing that, but I really just like you as a friend. Coming in at number 6, we have KUZCO. Being turned into a llama doesn't sound like the best day of your life. I mean, there are a lot of animals that it would be cool to get turned into, like a shark or an eagle, but I don't think llama would be high on my list of things to come back as. In the movie, we have KUZCO, who is a fun-loving, groovy emperor, and then you have Yasma, who wants to take the throne of the emperor, so she sets up a plan for him to be killed, to be poisoned. This is a classic move for when someone is trying to usurp you, but the plan gets messed up. It leads to the emperor actually getting turned into a llama. He loses his royal status, but along the way he learns how to be a better person and eventually gets his groove back, which actually doesn't involve eating grass and spitting. Next on the list we have JAFAR, one of the best Disney villains of all time. The sorcerer who has his eyes set on the kingdom of Agrabah. He wants all the power in the world and he'll do just about anything to get it. But here's the thing, JAFAR doesn't want to just rule a kingdom. He wants to be an all-powerful being. And he gets so close, but then he makes a little mistake. Eventually, JAFAR gets his hand on the genie lamp and he wishes not to be the ruler of Agrabah, but to be an all-powerful genie himself. Seems like a smart move. You'll have unlimited magical power. But he forgets to ask to be a free genie. So then he gets the power, but he's now locked away in his own lamp, and the only way he can have his freedom from this lamp will be if someone wishes for him to be free. You were so close, dude. Just changing your wish a little bit would have changed your life so much. But now you're stuck in a lamp, and I don't think you're gonna get out anytime soon. Next on the list we have Ariel. Now she did sign up for this curse, but this girl was a little too young and dumb to know what she was getting herself into. We all know the story of a little mermaid. She's living in a kingdom under the sea. She's a princess. She's literally in the 1%, but of course she wants more. Standard rich kid. Well, this Disney princess decides that she will throw everything away to try and chase some love. But the person she's in love with isn't just any dude, but a surface dweller. So she trades her voice for some legs and tries to woo the prince of her dreams. Little did she know that the person she sold her voice to, Ursula, was setting her up so she could take her daddy's trident and control the ocean. Also, not being able to speak sounds like a pretty horrible curse. Next on the list we have the Beast. Curses don't really get any worse than this. You're a king, you're royalty, you're living the high life. Another case of rich kid who doesn't know how to act right because wealth has separated them from the rest of the world. Well, if we dive into the story of Beauty and the Beast was a young boy, and one day a traveler comes to his door and asks if they can spend the night in their castle. He rejects the traveler, and it turns out that the traveler is a witch, and she curses him and everyone in the castle. The prince becomes a horrible beast, and all of the other people who work for him get transformed into living odds and ends around the house. To go from a king to a monster is a pretty hard change. And to cap things off, if he wants to get changed back, he needs to convince someone to fall in love with his beastly self before the final petal falls off a magical rose. My God. Coming in at number 2, we have Hercules. This would suck big time. You're a god, and then you have your godly powers taken away from you because your uncle is feeling a little sour. The gods are so petty. Just let me live, bro. I'm a baby. I never did anything to you. If you don't know, Hercules was born and then stolen from his crib and then forced to drink a spell that would change him mortal. Now, it almost worked, but he didn't drink the last drop, so he kept his godly strength. But now he couldn't come back to Olympus because even though he was insanely strong, he was now mortal, and no mortal can live in Olympus. So he must walk the earth wondering who he's supposed to be. Then he eventually learns that he was meant to walk among the gods, and he goes on a quest to get his rightful seat by his father's side on the mountain of the gods. But finding out that you're supposed to grow up living the life of an almighty being, tasting ambrosia, never needing to worry about anything, and literally being a god, but you were cursed to be mortal, being a god amongst men is probably how Joey Chestnut must feel.
God, it's too much. So much.
There's only one thing that I can think of that would be worse than that. For the number 1 spot, we have Monsieur Toilette. Disney has been going out of their way to remake a lot of the Disney classic movies and turn them into live action films. And for the most part, they've been pretty close to the original movies, but there is one part from the live action Beauty and the Beast that is horrifying. So we all know the story of Beauty and the Beast. We have covered it a little already. You got a castle full of people who are cursed. One of them got turned into a beast, and the rest of them got turned into different items around the house. Some of the people are teapots, some of the people are candelabras, but one dude had the worst fate of all. In the deleted scenes from the live action Beauty and the Beast, we see that there is someone who got cursed with being the toilet. That's right, for however long these people were stuck in this state, one dude just had people poop inside him. My god, that is a curse so horrible you would think it would be in an Eli Roth movie. Alright everyone, that has been our list. I'm going to answer some questions from my Instagram inbox. Matthew Paz wrote in and asked, if you were president, what would be the first thing you do? I would look through all of those secret files. I want to know all the secrets that have been kept from everyone. The Dolly Diva wrote in and asked, what book would you recommend I read on my week off? I'm currently reading a book called The Art of Learning by Joshua Waitskins. He's a chess grandmaster, a world champion at Tai Chi push hand competitions, and a world champion at Jiu-Jitsu. The book is about how to learn new skills very fast. And Fireblades195 wrote in and asked, do you play Monster Hunter? I played it for a bit when it first came out. I put about 50 hours into it, but then I stopped. I never had like a solid team to run with, but that game is amazing. Alright everyone, that has been our list. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, I would love it if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Until next time, I've been your host, Jade Arena, and watch out for those Disney curses.